Well guys, great to have your company. I'm joined with Marshall and I'm joined with yourself with the grandest title I think of anyone that we've interviewed on Raith Rovers TV. Tell us about your position, and guys, could you tell us a wee bit about why you're here today?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Major Gary Tait. Although I'm a serving soldier, I'm also the chairman of McCrae's Battalion Trust. McCrae's Battalion Trust has a long history, right till 1914, and obviously Raith Rovers, and today with Falkirk, but certainly the guys who joined the McCrae's Battalion in 1914 were drawn from across a number of sporting excellent fields, football being one of them, and Raith Rovers having quite a substantial delivery. So today I was very fortunate and privileged to be allowed to come onto the field along with Marshall and to lead the players out and to have that moment of silence just to remember the fallen and actually the contribution of players and fans in 1914.
I think that's a really key point. A lot of people know about the players who've gone to serve and of course the players who didn't come back, but interesting to note as well the part that supporters played across all of the professional football clubs, and I guess we throw in St Bernard's who are not with us anymore as well. But tell us a wee bit about your own link in behalf of Raith Rovers. It's an important role that you play.
Right, David. My own link was quite simply this. I was aware of the story of the soldiers, and I have been for many years, but up until, I would say maybe the last 5 years or so, the story was getting lost. You know, McCrae's Battalion Trust has come on the scene and have gradually absorbed the professional football teams and the fans in their interest. And I've always been, if you like, very interested in the First World War. With the Raith Rovers link, I thought I'm going to have to try and do something. Fortunately, I'm in the position now of being retired. I have the time available, and I started by being contacted by Jack Alexander, who wrote the book about McCrae's Battalion, and I said, right, I'll do what I can to get Raith Rovers on board as best as I can. And I've been doing since 2012. So this is fourth year and I go to France each year on behalf of the club. I've now sort of been adopted, if you like, as the ambassador for Raith Rovers Football Club, and I go out to Contalmaison each year and come here when I can, obviously, see the Rovers, and when it ties in with Armistice weekend, as indeed did last year's game with Hearts at Tynecastle, then we do our bit for the club and represent the club. And in fairness to Raith Rovers Football Club, they have very much embraced the cause of McCrae's Battalion Trust.
Major, could you tell us a wee bit about, Marshall's mentioned Contalmaison there, and it's notable because it's the placement of the cairn, but could you tell us a wee bit about the story, the cairn itself? That was a long time in the making, but it's now there, it's a point of reference, and how big how significant a feature is that we've got that landmark?
Well, you're absolutely right, David. In 1914 to 1918 war, saw lots of fallout from it in the way of putting memorials in many places. In 1920, the cairn was commissioned, but it never came to pass. So many decades passed, and young Jack Alexander, as he was then, took up the baton and he drove that forward. And actually, what McCrae's Battalion is a single battalion memorial, the only one in France on the Somme. It hugely commemorates not only just the city of Edinburgh, which was the 16th Battalion Royal Scots home, the sporting excellence from all the football clubs and fan supporters that drew themselves to the battalion and then deployed into France. But that is a little bit of Scotland on the Somme, and it's drawing every year in, year out, a larger crowd of individuals who recognise that connection. Very clear connection between football, but very clear connection between Scotland's infantry. And this whole period with the centenary coming up really highlights that and focuses the mind. But it is a little piece of Scotland. It's a beautiful piece of cairn built by an architect who lives in the Black Isle. So it's beautiful, exactly the same size and shape and design that you would have expected from 1920. But it is the only single battalion memorial on the Somme. That's a really significant point for Scotland.
Could I ask you individually to maybe put it towards how significant a landmark is that for the people of Contalmaison?
Oh, very much so. They have completely absorbed and come in with McCrae's Battalion Trust, and have gave all the permission that was needed for planning, and just like this country need planning permission for writing things, and they have just more or less, I would say, well, only 4 years experience, but very much welcome McCrae's Battalion Trust with open arms, and there has been an exchange, if you like, between, well, the Provost of Falkirk certainly has been there, and Patricia Leroy, Madame Patricia Leroy, who's the Lady Mayor of Contalmaison. She's been over in Falkirk staying with, oh gosh, I've forgotten his name, Pat Reid. Yeah, Provost Pat Reid. Yeah.
Major, tell us a wee bit about the trips that are made annually, and I know there's a very significant anniversary coming up in July next year.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, since 2004 at the unveiling, which was in November, there's been an annual pilgrimage, and each summertime we go out for about 4 or 5 days, and about a coachload of folk from the old stalwarts come from Edinburgh or centre from Edinburgh and head out into France. It's voluntary, of course, and there's a number of the trust members and committee members. But as we've seen, and as Marshall's saying, we've seen an inflow over the years, and it's not just those folk on the bus, it's folk who are coming independently. It's on the 1st of July, we hold a ceremony there, and it starts up at 9 o'clock in the morning. Not that I want to plug it too much, but it's an outstanding day, because it really does reflect just who we are, quite the small part of Scotland that we come from, exposed on that day. Now next year, the 100th anniversary, there are an opportunity for folk to come along to celebrate something pretty special, and that certainly exists still to this day.
Could I just add that as a measure of how Contalmaison has come into this, the last 2 years, would I say now, the school children are now very much part of the ceremony and are being taught to sing a particular song with the English verse. And you know, it would literally bring a tear to a glass eye when you see them in performing. Now they didn't used to be part of the ceremony, but they've been very much brought along now as part and parcel of the ceremony.
Can I ask yourself, Marshall, as a Raith Rovers fan, so you've got involved in this, and you know, we have great pride in our football team anyway. It draws us in week after week. Yeah. But the Remember strip, as it's referred to, go tell us a wee bit about why that's so significant, and tell us about why we're playing in green and black as our away strip.
Well, the green and black for the away strip, of course, are the colours of McCrae's Battalion. The Remember strip itself is absolutely stunning. It's a shame in some respects, perhaps, that they might kind of keep it going at least to the end of the 16-17 season, purely and simply because the players who lost their lives at Raith Rovers lost them in 1916 and indeed in 1917. So it would be nice if they could keep it running another year, but of course, football being football, you're just never too sure. It's a stunning example of the remembrance, and of course it ties in nicely with the R at the front and the R at the back. And I also had the great pleasure of, not last year but the year before, of presenting to Madame Patricia Leroy, the Contalmaison, a framed copy. In fact, it's a one-off. It's the one that's got white cuffs before. It's white up here rather than the black, but it hangs proudly in our office along with many other sporting memorabilia from Hearts, we wrote from Hibs, Falkirk and ourselves. So.
Major, could I finish off by asking yourself, anybody tuning into the interview on Raith Rovers TV, where can we find out a wee bit more about the story? We know that there's a website, and you mentioned Jack's excellent book. Where can people look for a bit of reference?
You're absolutely, the main place is the McCrae's Battalion Trust website. That has got the whole story from start to finish. It's been revamped recently, not to say it was not particularly eye-catching in the first place, but certainly now from a good strong storyline all the way through from the very start to where we are today, and it covers all the years that we've been out. Applications form for joining for people who wish to do so, but obviously a good start and a reference point, as you say, for those to delve a little bit deeper and a little bit more history about themselves personally, or for, in this instance, for the Club of Raith Rovers.
Marshall, is there anything that you would like to add to
just when you were speaking about the memorial a wee while ago there, every time I see it, every time I'm there, I feel as if I'm always back home, because on the ground round it are flagstones, and they come from a quarry which is less than 9 miles away from where I stay in the north of Scotland. And the plaques themselves, I think, were actually originally designed in Orkney and then cast in Nairn. Right. And the sandstone, I think, is Elgin sandstone, if I remember. So anything south of Elgin is never been, it's all from the north of Scotland, but particularly when I see the flagstones, I say, here we go, Jockey's Quarry.
Well, thanks to both of you for joining. It's great to have the chance to see how Raith Rovers present ties in with Raith Rovers in the past, so thanks again.
Thank you.
Very good, thanks.